In Greek mythology, Chiron was a master healer who received a wound from a poisoned arrow. Unable to heal the injury that festered and bled, and unwilling to continue his life of constant pain, Chiron chose to give up his immortality to Prometheus so he could die and free himself of suffering. After Chiron's death, Zeus honored him by placing him in the stars so he could continue to inspire and impart his wisdom to other healers. In the birth chart, the placement of Chiron, which is a minor planet, represents our most painful wound, the one that we received early in life that we struggle to heal and continues to be a sore spot. This wounding may manifest over and over again, attracting the same archetypes and situations until the native acknowledges and makes peace with the wound and banishes any person or situation from their life that is of a similar energy to the original wounding. Chiron in a birth chart can indicate musical and artistic gifts and talents, healing abilities including natural medicine and energy healing, a flair for astrology, and the ability to act as a teacher or guide for other people. Chiron learned his skills from the god Apollo and his sister Artemis, who took him under their wings. Furthermore, Chiron is associated with adoption, fostering, and being abandoned by one or both parents. Half god, half horse, Chiron struggled to fit in with the other centaurs as he was the wisest and justest of them all and lacked their primitive and beastly natures. Certain Chiron placements in the birth chart can sometimes indicate bodily deformities and physical illness. The lowest frequency of a Chiron wound would be to hurt others in the same way that we ourselves were hurt. We can work with the wound from a higher vibration and use it to help other people. One example of this would be a victim of child abuse who later goes on to train as a counselor. She still lives with the pain, but she uses her experience to give children the help that she never received. Chiron's energy is shamanic. When I read charts, I've noticed that shamanic people have a strong or heavily aspected Chiron, frequently placed in the 12th house, which gives the person natural ability to travel through the different spiritual realms. These are usually people who have suffered through long periods of physical or even mental illness and have had difficult childhoods, but always felt in tune with the spirit world and have the ability to help others despite their own suffering. Chiron people frequently feel alienated and shunned by society and are unable to relate to their peers or the world around them. The shamanic view of some mental illness is that it can, on occasion, be an initiatory soul crisis, which aids spiritual development and encourages the person to surrender to the healing path and answer the call. Finding the meaning and lessons in this crisis is to unlock the cure. During Chiron's transit through Pisces, we surrendered to our wounds and pain, and we felt compassion and empathy for other wounded beings. There was a tendency to wallow over our problems and play the martyr or victim. Some issues were caused by loose boundaries and deception, and we may have glossed over the flaws of others and worn rose tinted glasses in our relationships rather than facing the truth. Many people suffered at the hands of psychic vampires who used manipulation in order to tug at our heartstrings. We made excuses for the people who hurt us and contributed to our own unhappiness by giving them a place in our lives. Chiron and Aries will bring opportunities to heal our identities and we'll become proactive in our approach to healing ourselves. No longer content with wallowing and reliving the past, We declare war on pain and on our enemies, which can include family members or other people who we were previously very close to. Armed with the wisdom gleaned from Chiron's journey through Pisces, we aggressively fight for the right to be our true selves and to break through the situations in our lives that cause us to feel disempowered. Many of us follow the same old routine: work a 9 to 5 job, watch TV, get married, have kids, buy a house. But is this who you really are? Or are you only conforming to society's expectations of you? Conversely, do we want to make a home and a family but feel pressured by career instead? What is your identity when all of this is stripped away? Are you working in an office every day, living in suburbia when the real you would rather sell everything and go traveling? Chiron in Aries gives us the opportunity to live authentically, but first of all, we may have to experience an identity crisis and work towards peeling away the layers of falseness that we've worn over the years. The transit is the next phase of our spiritual awakening, and the things that used to be important to us, like job titles and celebrities, may no longer interest us as much. We may experience increased conflict during this transit, but we recover quickly as we learn to take back power from those who stole it from us. Reaching another stage of initiation on the path to enlightenment, it's time for us to master the element of fire and review how we express it in our lives. As the earth switches gears to move towards a different frequency, we'll see more clearly through the illusions of society around us, and as a result of that, we'll unapologetically turn the system upside down and set fire to the status quo. As we shake off the shackles of the control network that we were born into, we furiously fight for our independence and freedom, and we demand the right to be ourselves. During Chiron's transit in Pisces, many of us became aware that we were being manipulated by the fake news of the mainstream media, and it was difficult to identify fiction from fact. This energy continues with Neptune's transit in Pisces, and we should always be aware of the fact that we can't trust anything that comes from the media and should focus on creating positive change within our personal lives. Armed with the truth, the energy of Chiron in Aries helps us to form a new, authentic world, which begins with the self realization of each individual.